Live from the Icebox Studio in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. It's the Bill and Corey Show. I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Welcome back to another episode.
Yes.
Should be good this week, and it might not be as long because I won't be yapping about my vacation. So we'll see how it turns out.
I'm going to have to go on vacation now.
We do. You have to have a tech support question with it. Of course, we do have our YouTube chat set up, so have a question, you can get some tech support improv on there. So let's see, first question is a customer wants to expand a switchover from a 1x1, a standard 2-cylinder 1x1 switchover, to a 2x2. We're going to have a lot of props for this one. So Corey's holding up, oh correct, it's up right side up. That's our regular 1x1 switchover, and we have the flex hoses are just tied up there. That's for shipping and makes it
receiving.
And receiving and stuff. So there's a couple things you can do. Is that if you want to expand, this flex hose has a CGA. You can get 2 manifolds. This is our standard source track manifolds. Pretty heavy duty. It's got station valves on it. It's got this will have a CGA 5A outlet bushing to match up with this. So you could
take this off,
mount this on the wall for one side. You attach the hose right there, and then you got 2 hoses here with 580s with check valves, and you're in business. And of course, there's brackets to hold this on the wall. We ship those with it. So you can do that. And then you'd get one on the other side, and it'd be a different one because you can't have this on the other side. You'd have this outlet bushing over here.
Yeah, so
and then a plug in this end.
Well, you guys flip it around and have the valves underneath. Yeah.
That would the problem is it really doesn't work that way. But we do have a solution, and these headers are made with brass and stainless steel.
And this is what you would get if you ordered, originally if you ordered it as a 4-cylinder. Well, not as a, as a 4-cylinder if you wanted the
We would actually eliminate this hose.
You would. That's what I'm saying. But you would
get fitting there.
But you would get that on.
You get that for a normal switchover. Now we have a quick and easy solution. This is called a mini manifold because it's mini.
And it was created right after Austin Powers came out?
It could. Yeah, that's it. We'll give Austin.
Mini me.
Okay. These are only available in brass. And the intent was to have a inexpensive manifold. You wanted a quickie manifold. So the hoses you can see aren't armored.
But they're still rated to the proper.
Yeah, it's still properly rated. And these are Teflon line hoses. So you probably don't want to use them for hydrogen or helium. It's gonna leak out through
the small molecules.
Yeah, atoms for helium. And then, so what's nice about this is because the hoses come straight out front, there's no isolation valves. You can just get 2 of them. You get one hooked up this way, and then you flip it over.
Yeah, this one goes.
And it goes on the other side. So it's really kind of neat. It comes with a nice heavy-duty bracket there, so you can just you could put it on unistrut. You could lag bolt it to the wall. You can get it with flex hoses. It's typically 3 foot long. You can get 6 foot long. So that's our mini manifolds. Of course, you can get this in the online store.
Yes.
And we ship it.
Yeah, I mean both manifolds you can get on the online store.
Both manifolds you get in the online store. So this is our mini manifold, and the other one was our source track. So that's an quick and easy way to expand your switchover system. So that's it for that question. Next question, we're going to kick over to regulators, and this is on. This is our 3060 series regulator question, and the customer was really just asking about delivery pressure ranges. So Corey's going to handle this question.
Yeah. So the customer called me up and was just concerned that they weren't getting the proper outlet pressure. I guess we could do that.
Yeah.
We weren't getting the proper Sorry, let me start over. So a customer called up, they had ordered a regulator, but they were concerned that they ordered the wrong one. So there are 2 regulators for the 3060 AC. Well, there's more than 2, but 2 outlet pressures, very high pressures, 4,000 or 6,000. So I just asked the customer, I said, well, what's the highest pressure you now? And they told me 6,000. I said, well, then obviously you went to 6,000. They ordered the 4,000, so we switched it over for them. However, but that gives me into the 3060 series, 3060A series of regulators. What's that?
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to talk about relieving, non-relieving.
I was going to.
Okay.
I didn't know why you turned it.
Well, then you can kind of see it profile.
Oh, I guess so. So there are multiples. Obviously there's brass and stainless, but there's also relieving and non-relieving ones. And so the non-relieving ones.
That would be this.
That would be this one. Yeah, no, this one. Yes.
It's smaller.
It is smaller, and it's made. It's
still pretty heavy.
It still is pretty heavy, but it doesn't relieve. It doesn't have an internal relief.
Yeah.
And for I mean, they're not going to, but it's a safer way to.
You turn sideways and you can see the profile difference.
Yes, we can see the profile difference.
Okay, he's holding upside down.
I guess
you can see this one. The relieving one's a little bit bigger.
Yes.
Okay.
And so those are the two, brass, stainless, 4000, 6000, relieving, non-relieving.
Yeah. And the relieving is, what's nice about that is you get really high pressure, and if you go oops on the pressure and go too high, you can just back off the knob and it'll vent it. Normal, most of the regulators we sell don't have that option. So if you overpressurize, you would have to bleed the pressure off on the other side. But with higher pressure systems, you often see self-relieving regulators. Of course, you can't use the self-relieving regulators in flammable gas service.
No.
Because you don't want to be venting
or corrosive.
Well, you're not going to have 6,000-pound corrosive cylinders. Yes.
Just saying.
If you do, it just sounds like a bad idea. But with flammable, you don't want the flammable to vent into the room because it could go boom.
Yes, it could go boom. A little electrical thing. I mean, everybody's seen a movie when a natural gas thing happens.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna put that in there and we're move that one. And then the next one is kind of fun. Someone wanted a pressure regulator. Yes. We have typical in the U.S. We have CGA inlet fittings, but they were looking for an AFNOR inlet connection and an ISO 5145. So I've got a collection of fittings here. Hopefully I can get them all right. So I explained the different. AFNOR is, that's the French.
It sounds sci-fi-ish to me.
And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, it might be AFNOR. I don't know how the French pronounce things. But, so it's also called NF for short.
Famously, the French language is very phonetic to how they're spelled, unlike the English language.
Oh, well, that's a mess. Okay, so I got a collection of fittings for nitrogen gas service. Now, this is a CJ 580. That's our normal U.S. one. American, yeah. And then the Germans go with a DIN 10, so it's a little different there. It's got not as bullet-nosed as our nitrogen fittings. Oh, it comes with a little washer there. And it's fun, and you always kind of wonder what other countries are doing. So,
and why?
Well, because the fitting for nitrogen here is also, CJ 580 is also good for helium and argon, xenon, and other kind of inert mixes.
Harmless gases.
Harmless, yeah. So this is a DIN 10, and in German, that's it. It's only for nitrogen. It's not for helium, not for argon. I don't know why, but that's what they do. What do we have here? This is a JIS 22RH for right hand, so that kind of makes sense. Then you see the RH, it's right handed.
Yeah, I like that
LH
actually.
It's left handed.
I like that.
And this is the JIS, so it's Japanese fitting. So they do, what the Japanese do is, this is the 22R. It is good for not only, it's good for inerts, helium, nitrogen, argon, xenon. It's also good for refrigerant gases, like your halocarbons, your freon, stuff like that. And then it's also for ammonia, which is kind of odd.
Well, no, it's a refrigerant. Who cares? Don't
worry about
toxic. Don't worry about the other parts of it being a refrigerant.
You just kind of go, what? You can hook ammonia up with your nitrogen cylinder, but I'm sure they got a good reason why.
That's what we're saying.
So anyways, so that kind of looks like that. So I think it probably comes in the washer. Then we go to the BS3 fitting. So that's British standard. So if you're in England, they could have a BS3 fitting. Now, what's kind of odd about that is they have BS3 is for inerts and oxygen. And we have our own, CGA 540 is just for oxygen because people breathe it and stuff like that.
And it's an oxidizer.
It's an oxidizer. But this can be used for both inerts and oxygen. Like I said, I don't know why, but it is. And it has bullet nose, kind of like the threads are actually a little bit different. And we kick over to, this is a uni fitting.
See, this is what makes, no, never mind, I'm thinking of the next one, the uni, because I think of university.
Fitting. No, this is uni fitting, and it's uni 4412, and it's Italian, so it's for inert gases. And it's very much like a CJ 580. I didn't really look at the drawings on it.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, but it looks.
The threading is the threading's a little bit different, but I tested it out. It's about the same threading.
I mean, you can go.
Put it in a bushing.
I know, but you can go like that too and see if it.
That'll give you a good idea though if they follow along.
This is the BS4. Actually, I had that. That's a flammable gas fitting. So so we can do a variety of different inlet connections here. Some we stock. Some we can get quickly. Some we don't. Some we can get pretty quickly. They're in stock at our vendor who makes our CGA fittings for us. And then some oddball ones, they might take many, many weeks to make because our vendor doesn't really typically make them. And we might have
did you talk about the last fitting on the list?
Yeah.
Because this is the best one.
Yes, and of course.
I was like, why don't these people get together?
Yeah, they do. They do have something to get together. It's the ISO 5145 is the standard. It's the intent was to be all European standard.
The
whole
EU,
EU stuff, all that kind of stuff. So they've got their own cylinder connections. You know what? Most countries don't run most companies. Most countries are like, yeah.
No, I look at
stick to their own.
I look at all these, and all I think is the Marshall Plan missed putting CGA connections to be standard as part of it, and they didn't. And it's a big overlooking in my part.
They could have rebuilt buildings or done CGA.
I mean, they could have added. They could have added to it. You know, they didn't have to take something else out.
Yeah. So there are a variety of connections out there for your inlets, fittings, but typically in the U.S. they're going to be CGA.
And I'm not saying we have to go with U.S. I mean, we just need to get together, pick the best ones.
This one out.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
The next question. It's another modified regulator question. Somebody called and wanted to have an 8mm Legis fitting on the outlet of the. What is it? I don't know. I'm just trying. Legis. I'm just trying to pronounce it just like you. Legis. I mean, it is a proper noun, so it does not follow phonetics. You can tell them how you can pronounce it any way you want. Okay, got it. And you just did.
This
is a question for Corey. So you want to tell us about the...
So these are push-to-connect fittings. Typically, they're about 150 psig max, and it's just a plastic tubing. And yeah, here we go. I have one in here. See, you take your 1/4-inch plastic tubing, push it in, it connects it, and I think you push it in to disconnect it.
Yeah, you have to push the ring.
You have to push the ring in. This is very much like my favorite fittings, my shark bite fittings that I use at home. Pretty much. Very similar, actually, now that I think about it. And so there's a bunch of, so the Legis fitting is made by a certain company. We use SMC fittings. This is very similar to Swage Lock versus Gyrock.
Gyrock or Parker.
Parker
makes them.
Parker makes them. So all these, they're very similar fittings. They do the same exact thing essentially, but they have their own ways of doing them. And whether it's better or not better, depending on the companies, probably up to personal preference. And so our company uses SMC fittings, not Legis, but so if you prefer Legis, then...
you're going to have to wait a little longer.
To get it.
We have those in stock.
Or one other thing you can always do, you can always send us the fitting you want to put on too. That's always, if say you have it in stock and it's taken us 10 weeks to get it, you can always send it to us and we can put it on as well. Yeah, so
that's that. And you'd order the regulator. How would you order the regulator if you wanted to have that fitting on there? Mm-hmm. How would you order it?
If you want this fitting on there, a dash S regulator.
Yeah, dash S regulator. That's our way of doing modified pressure regulator?
Yeah, yes. So yeah, so it's been, yeah.
We don't have that fitting in the online store, but you can order modified regulators.
Yeah, talk to one of
so.
our salespeople, and,
Yeah.
and you know, when they can put it in, they'll just manually type it in, and
Yep.
we'll make it happen.
I'll take care of it. So.
Good question, Bill. I missed that.
Okay, that's all the questions we have for this week. It doesn't look like anybody wanted to stump us with an online question, so you know, maybe next week we'll get some online questions. So once again, thanks for watching, and tune in next week at 10 a.m. for another episode of the Bill and Corey Show.
Set your VCRs.